Hey guys, Webhes here, and welcome to the Knights of Frozen Throne Webhes first impressions. So basically, we're going to be talking about the new expansion that Hearthstone is coming out in like mid-August or maybe early August. We don't know what Ben Brode is thinking, but they did reveal some new cards, and that is why we are going to talk about them. So basically, the basis of this is the Frozen Throne, and therefore you have your corrupted heroes. So therefore we have all of our heroes, all of our classes will have corrupted versions of them, like corrupted Jaina, corrupted Rexar, for example. So each corrupted hero is a legendary that replaces your hero. It behaves some sort like a Jiraxxus, where he replaces the hero, but your health values do not change, right? It just grants you 5 armor whenever you play it. So when you play that, there's an effect on the board, and then it might be a permanent effect, or it might just be something like a consecration and it grants you a new hero power, for example. So it's kind of interesting, and it's a new concept, which is pretty good. And we'll see if hunters are gonna be OP or not, because currently we only know of 2 of the legendary heroes. So we don't know yet. Anyway, the adventure mode will also be included, and it does not give you extra cards. The full adventure mode will not be released altogether. It will be released on a weekly basis like the other times. It's just for fun now. It's not something that people need to definitely buy to get cards, because the cards are in their packs. So yeah, that's why. So first things first, our first card is Blood Razor. So it's a 4 mana 2/2 warrior card, and it says Battle Cry and Deathrattle deal 1 damage to all minions. So it's like a whirlwind effect times 2. A 4 mana weapon reminds me a lot of Death Spite. It was a 4 mana 4/2 Deathrattle whirlwind. This is a little bit different. I think it's still an okay arena card due to the AoE, double AoE, so it kind of have like a double consecration kind of feel. So I think it's very useful against decks that like to zoo you. For example, the current Shaman decks, the current token druid decks, they like to play Firefly into Fire Elemental, or no, Flame Elemental. And you just don't like that, right? Or you see shamans with all the totems and all that shit like that. You can clear it off with your Blood Razor. It's really useful. However, because it's a 4 mana card, by the time you can cast it, you kind of already like behind, and yeah, you're behind. So you're like, how do I really do this? And if you want to combo it with Sleep with the Fishes, you will need like 7 mana, which might be a little bit too costly if you want to clear the board that way. I'll rate it a 4 out of 10. It's not good enough. Next, we have Blood Queen Lanafell. It's a Warlock 5 mana 1/6. 5 mana 1/6 legendary. Like what? The text has to be really good, right? So the text is Lifesteal. Has +1 attack for each card you've discarded this game. So it kind of like tries to make you play the discard log again, right? They want to make Lakari sacrifice something more useful. The only problem with this is that this discard log is still very inconsistent. You cannot choose what cards you can discard. Like, so you can even discard this card, Blood Queen Lanafell. Like, sure, the +1 attack happens even if it's in your deck. It doesn't have to be in your hand for the +1 effect to be there, but it does not matter, right? If you're gonna play discard cards and you don't want to discard your Blood Queen Lanafell, then you don't want to discard any more cards, which is very inconsistent. It sometimes makes you, it kind of feels awkward to play discard log, because sometimes you're just stuck in a spot where you don't want to discard your cards, but you have to, and then you just throwing away all your good cards, and that's not what you want. So I don't think this is a good card. It's a legendary. Lifesteal is pretty cool and all, but I give it a 3 out of 10. It's not so good. Next, we have Chillblade Champion. It's a paladin for 4 mana 3/2. It has charge and lifesteal, so basically a wolf rider with 1 more health that costs 1 extra mana and heals you for free. So possibly it at best it's a 4 mana bash, right? Like if it doesn't die, then sure it can bash. You can bash it another time, but I don't think so. You can't really do much with it alone. You kind of need to use Divine Shield to make the full use of this charged lifesteal. So, but it's 2 health instead of 1 health because of the Stewardess of Darkshire, right? She gives Divine Shield to those that have 1 health, but Chillblade Champion is 2 health, so he won't get Divine Shield from that. You kind of need the Argent Protector to do it for him, and it's a little bit too costly by then. So yeah, I don't think this is a very good card, so I'm rating it a 4 out of 10. You cannot overheal yourself, so at turn 4 and you haven't taken much damage, you're not gonna use this card. It's a bad card overall, not good. Next, we have our legendary hero, Deathstalker Rex. So basically it's a 6 mana hero card. When you play it, you'll gain 5 armor and then you deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. So it's like a Consecrate, except it doesn't go face obviously. And then you change your hero power to build a beast, which is quite an OP mechanic in my opinion, because like, so what happens with build a beast is that you the first discover would be a beast that has text on it. All your beasts that you discover are 5 mana or less, so don't need to worry about that. So you have a text, and then the next one will either be a vanilla card or will have a keyword. So for example, you can play Rat Pack, which has Deathrattle and the text on it, and then you have Emperor Cobra with the other one, and then you will profit a lot with that card. So yeah, it's a very good card. I think it's a 7 out of 10. It's still a little bit slow, but we'll see if hunters can slow down their gameplay, because usually hunters want to go face. Next, we have Frost Lich Jaina. It's a 9 mana legendary hero, and Battlecry summon a 3/6 water elemental. Your elementals have lifesteal for the rest of the game, so you kind of want to play Frost Lich Jaina with things like Pyros. You want to play the Phoenix, you want to play your Tar Creepers and all whatnot, and I think Elemental Mages might be a thing. It might be useful. I think it is possible. However, because Frost Lich Jaina is a very high cost hero or spell, whatever you call it, you kind of need to stall the game out. So like things like Ice Block and Ice Barrier are definitely required for this. So yeah, permanent effects are always very powerful, and I think this is a pretty good card. 8 out of 10. Next, we have Icebreaker. It's a shaman weapon. 3 mana 1/3. Destroy any frozen minion damaged by Fist. So basically, shamans actually only have 1 freezing effect right now, which is Frost Shock. The neutral cards would be like Glacial Shard, which would be really helpful. However, I think Hex would be a better card than this, because you still take damage from whatever you want to chop, right? And sometimes you just don't want to take damage as a shaman. I know shamans have quite a lot of healing nowadays, but still, I don't think this is very useful until shamans' freezing effects appear a little bit more. We don't know if shamans get more freezing cards, so we'll see. Next, we have Plague Scientist. It's a 3 mana 2/3 rogue card combo. Give a friendly minion poisonous. Whenever there's give a friendly minion something, give a friendly minion another thing, it's sometimes really useful and sometimes not so useful. For poisonous is one of the most OP keywords out there. Unfortunately, if you do not have a minion on the board, it becomes useless even if you combo it. So it really depends. I still feel that it's quite an OP card in general, especially in Arena. It's insane. And if you're playing, say, like a Miracle Rogue, you can always play your Firefly, and then you play your Plague Scientist. You can also play your Stone Tuskboar into Plague Scientist, and then you can clear a minion immediately. It's a pretty good minion, so 8 out of 10. Next, we have Prince Kalaseth. Yeah, it's a 2 mana 2/2 legendary battlecry. If your deck has no 2 cost cards, give all your minions in your deck +1/+1. Terrible card. You are sacrificing all your 2 cost cards, which include spells, and 2 cost cards are too valuable in any meta Like, you definitely need to have your two cost cards to either do something in the early game or do something in the late game plus play a big minion. So 2 cost cards are just too good, and if you remove all your 2 cost cards just for a +1/+1, it is just too weak, and this card is not playable. Do not play this card. If you play this card, you're gonna lose. Next, Prince Kaldurahm. Same thing. If your deck has no free cost cards, transform into a free copy of a minion. And this free cost cards are also very, very important. Like all your low cost cards, like 1, 2, 3, these are your basis, your foundation of a deck. And if you want to remove your foundation, then you're pretty much gonna lose the early game. And sometimes losing the early game means just losing the game entirely. So this is not good enough. It requires to combo with powerful cards like Maligos or something like a Deathrattle. And it's just too many conditions to be met before this card is even a good card. So yeah, it's not playable as well. 1 out of 10. Next, we have Shallow Gravedigger. It's a 3 mana 3/1 neutral card. Deathrattle, add a random Deathrattle minion to your hand, and it's not a discover, so they just add random Deathrattles. So I'm not sure if they have like class specific Deathrattles that they will give you, but if they do, it's pretty good for rogue. It's pretty good for priests, for example. They have pretty good Deathrattles nowadays. So actually, there are not many bad Deathrattle cards in the deck. Like even Volatile Elemental is pretty good. So I think it's a pretty good loot hoarders, and I think, yeah, 8 out of 10, good card. Next, we have Spirit Lash. It's a priest spell. Finally, AoE comes cheap for priests. So it's a 2 mana lifesteal, deal 1 damage to all minions. So it's kind of like a whirlwind, except that you heal from all the damage you deal. So sometimes you can use it in the early game if your opponent is like some kind of stupid zoo with all the 1 health minions, or you can always use it in late game and heal up very much and then stay in the game. So yeah, it's a potential game changer. It's a good early AoE. It can be used late game to try and heal yourself. I think it's a good card in general, and I give it a 7 out of 10. Next, we have Ticking Abomination. It's a 4 mana 5/3 neutral card. It's a rare, and Deathrattle deal 5 damage to your own minions. You don't deal damage to your opponent's minions, and you do not have taunts. So basically, they just give you more stats, but the trade-off is that you kill off everything else in your board. I don't think this is a good card in Arena. I don't think this is a good card in general. It's a very bad card. 1 out of 10. Next, we have Mountain Fire Armor. It's a 3 mana 4/3 minion. Deathrattle, if it's your opponent's turn, gain 6 armor. It's a warrior card, by the way. So, works once you have Sun Fury Protector or Defender of Argus, you kind of make this guy something that heals you, right? And even if you don't play Argus or Protector, you just play this alone, and in your aggro deck, for example, they don't want to kill it, and they have to kill it, right? So if they kill it, you just gain more armor. You can play more minions on the board. If they don't kill it, then well, you can always just keep dealing 4 damage to the face, right? So this is a very, very good card, and I rate it 9 out of 10. One of the best cards I've seen so far. Next, we have Rubian Unraveler. It's a neutral card and 6 mana 5/5. Spells cost 2 more. So welcome back, Lofab. Not really, but because all your spells cost 2 more. Opponents, yours, everything. It's kind of a weird trade-off, I say, but spells are the most impactful cards in the game so far, so this is actually a really, really good card. Maybe you can use it in your zoo decks to try and prevent people from using Flame Strike or some kind of AoE. You can even use it against like druids, miracle rogue, and mages. Like they want to play secrets, they can play a 5 mana secret. If druids want to play a 2 mana innovate, so be it, right? So yeah, I think this is a pretty decent card to tech against most of the classes, because every class has spells, and most of them kind of want to play on curve. So I think it's a really, really good card. 7 out of 10. Oh wait, so next card, Professor Putricide. It's a 4 mana 5/4 Hunter Legendary. After you play a secret, put another random Hunter secret into play. So I don't really see this card being played as much because like Hunter Secrets are like I mean sure they are kind of okay-ish nowadays, but like I don't see Secret Hunter return simply because of one card. Maybe you can always combo it with the card that makes secrets 0 cost, but it might not be good enough because the secrets don't really synergize with one another very well. Like for example, if your opponent hits you, as in your opponent minion hits you and you have Freezing Trap and Explosive Trap on at the same time, it kind of like triggers separately and at the same time. It really depends on the order, so it's kind of like really awkward. So Hunter Secrets a little bit strange that when they are stacked together, so it might not work to your benefit. Next we have Ghastly Conjurer. It's a 4 mana 2/6 mage card. Battlecry, add a mirror image spell to your hand. So basically it's another Exodia activator. Basically it gives you an extra card and it gives you Kagebunshin, right? So Kagebunshin is really useful. It's helps you stall people who are more reliant on the minions to attack you. So it's really helpful. Like 2/0/2 taunts are just effective anywhere, and you definitely get a mirror image. It's not like, oh, get a random mage spell and suddenly you get shatter, so you kind of wasted your card. No, it's definitely a mirror image and it's really useful. So I think this is one of the better cards that mage has gotten so far. And yeah, you use it on turn 5 instead of turn 4 because you want to do the Kagebunshin immediately. Yep. Next, Vampiric Poison. It's a 2 mana rogue spell that gives your weapon lifesteal. So rogue weapons are not very powerful. Like usually you only have your daggers. You don't even use most of the other rogue weapons anymore. And possibly you can use this for Miracle Synergy, but I think 2 mana is still a little bit too costly to do Miracle Rogue. Most people will either still stick with their preparations, their stupid counterfeit coins, instead of just using Vampiric Poison to do some lifesteal shenanigans. I don't think rogues will need these just yet. I mean, they might prove me wrong if they come up with more different kinds of lifesteal based stuff for rogues, but for now it's just not good enough. It's a great arena card though. It works with an Venom weapon and then you can kill things and heal yourself. It's a pretty good thing. So yeah, that's pretty much all the cards we've seen so far. And yeah, I hope you guys like the review. If you have any thoughts, leave in the comments down below or in the Twitch chat and I will read it. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.